Good morning once again to all of you. Today we will see historical background of Kent's repertory. Now, so far we have seen the history and evolution of repertory. हा म्हटलं थोड्या वेळाने करू फोन लेक्चर मध्ये मी दुपारी या ना 12:30 नंतर. So today we will see historical background of Kent's repertory. So far we have studied the evolution of repertory in general. That means how the repertories were evolved slowly over a period of 2 centuries. And that is a topic from introductory part of repertory. This topic belongs to the specific Kent repertory. Now, henceforth we will study historical background of Kent repertory, then philosophical background, then plan and construction. So we'll start with the Kent repertory, and it is very essential that we must learn the historical background of specific repertories also, because it will help us in various aspects. Now, why we are learning this topic? This is exam oriented objective. In your question number 5, the question number 5 is only limited up to the history and evolution of repertory, and under that question number 5, the history of specific repertory may be asked sometime. It has not asked sometime, but there are chances are there that this could be also asked. Therefore, you must study the history of repertory in general and history of repertory of the specific repertory also. Then it could be one of the part of long answer question. The 20 marks question are asked, and in that there are 4 readings, and in that 4 readings, one reading could be this: explain Kent's repertory in detail, and in that Kent's repertory in detail, the one heading will be historical background of Kent's repertory. Then 2 mark question will be also asked: mention the year in which first edition of Kent repertory was published, 5th edition published, 3rd edition published, 4th, 5th, etc. And so for this 2 mark question, it is also important. And then in the oral questions, then why it is important academically to learn this topic? Because if we understood the historical background of this repertory, it will be easier for us to understand what was the historical scenario before the evolution of Kent's repertory in the field of repertory. And if we understand this historical scenario, we will be in a better position to understand the various new concepts which were introduced by Dr. James Tyler Kent in his new repertory. And this topic will be also important to understand the various criticisms against Kent repertory. After publishing of Kent's repertory, after death of Kent's repertory, after 50 years after the death of Kent repertory, there was also few criticisms on the Kent repertory. To understand this criticism and to give answer to this criticism, we must be equipped with this knowledge of historical background of King Repertory. So we will learn this topic, and the outline of this topic will be: first we will see lives of Dr. James Tyler Kent. Now you must be all knowing that Dr. Kent was not from the first day of his conversion of homeopathy was a person related with the field of repertory. So it is also essential to understand what was happening in the life of Dr. Kent, or what had happened in the life of Dr. Kent. Then we also study the historical scenario in the field of repertory when Dr. Kent developed interest in the repertory. But there were various challenges in the field of repertory when Dr. Kent has developed interest in the field of repertory. So first we'll see that life of Dr. Kent, then studied historical scenario in the field of repertory, and then why Dr. Kent felt the necessity of one more new repertory. Then we'll also see how he has prepared, or he has prepared his repertory, who were the persons who were helping him, who were the persons who were guiding him, who were the people who are criticizing him. And then in spite of all these difficulties in preparation of the repertory, we'll also study how finally he was able to publish this repertory. And then afterwards, we will see the various editions of Kent repertory. And there is one historical importance of this handwritten copy of third edition of Kent repertory. So under this 7 heading, if a long question is asked, you must, that long question, if it is for 20 marks, your answer must include this 7 headings, 9 win. And accordingly, we will learn this topic if, as if we are writing an answer to this long answer question. And similarly, we will also understood the various pros and cons of historical background of Kent's repertory. So first of all, we will see about the Kent's life. So Dr. Kent's life. So he was a very important pioneer in the field of homeopathy. He was also the equally important pioneer in the field of repertory also. He had a very important life period in between 31st March 1849 to 6 June 1910. So he has lived the life of near about 60 years, and there were various important events during his lifetime. The first important incident was he was basically a doctor. After completing his school, he has admitted in the Medical Institute of Cincinnati in Eclectic. Now, all these institutes, all these cities, the locations are in the America. So he trained himself as a medical practitioner, as a medical graduate from Medical Institute of Cincinnati in Eclectic. Then, after completing his medical education, he has started his practice in the. His practice is definitely, it was a medical practice. So he has started his medical practice in small town of St. Louis, and which was in Missouri State. And then after starting his practice, became a successful practitioner, and then got married. And after a few years of married life, his first wife was expired because of some medical illness. Then he has married with his second wife, Clara Louise Kent, and this Clara Louise Kent was suffering from this is insomnia. And once his second wife also got ill because of this insomnia. According to his own medical education, he has tried to give relief to the complaints of second wife. But unfortunately, he cannot give relief to his wife from this illness of insomnia. And then in one of his communications, he has written about this illness of Clara Louise Kent came to one of his friends. And fortunately, that Dr. Kent's friend was homeopathic practitioner, and that homeopathic practitioner, after reading the details of his of Kent's wife's illness, and sent him some medicine. And then after receiving that medicine, Dr. Kent has administered the first dose to the Clara Louise Kent, and he started his routine work, important daily routine. And he has totally forgotten to give the second dose of that medicine. And then by the time few hours have passed, and then he has remembered that he has to give the dose of medicine to his wife. When he has visited his wife, he found that his wife was soundly sleeping. His wife was in a deep sleep, and this particular incident has got impact on the life of Dr. Kent, and it was just a twist in the story of Dr. Kent's life, and that this incident has developed Dr. Kent. This incident has forced Dr. Kent to develop his interest in the field of homeopathy, and he has started his study. Slowly, he has got converted in homeopathy in the year 1878. That means at the age of near about 38 years or 40 years, he has got converted himself into, or at the age of, if you calculate his birth year and 1878, it is just his 20, at the age of 29 years, he has got converted into homeopathy, and he has become a very sincere, hard-working student of homeopathy, and because of his excellent mastery over the various subjects of homeopathy, after a few years, in the year 1883, he has become professor of materia medica in one of the homeopathic college of America. And while delivering the lectures on this subject of homeopathic materia medica, he became a very popular lecturer in this subject of homeopathic materia medica. And the lectures on homeopathic materia medica, what we read today, it basically belongs to this time period where he was professor of materia medica, and all his lectures were enjoyed by various homeopathic students, and they were also useful to the homeopathic fraternity. So, while giving the lectures, while studying the materia medica, he has understood that homeopathic materia medica is a very vast subject, and to understand this subject, to study the subject of homeopathic materia medica, he has got attention towards the subject of homeopathic materia medica, and he has also started study of homeopathic repertory. After this, we know very well, and once he has converted into homeopathy, once he has got developed interest in the repertory, we will see what was the historical scenario. So remember this year, 1883, when he has become professor. That means after 2 years or 3 years, you must have developed interest in the subject of repertory. And in that time period, from 1886 onwards, so that was the time where he has got himself introduced to the study of repertory, and we will see what was the status of repertory during this time of 1886 or after 1887. So, if we look at this 1887 in the history of repertory, so this was the, if we remember the evolution of repertory before 1880, 1888, we have just considered this hypothetically, this year where Dr. Kent has got interested in the field of repertory. So by the time of 1888 or by the time of 1890, what has happened? Already there was development in the field of repertory. So just remember that we have taken the year 1887 or 1890, where Dr. Kent has started interest in the field of repertory. And then we are studying what was the position around that time, that is 1888 or 1890 in the field of repertory. So if we consider this important year 1890, so in that up to that year 1890, what has happened already, the two eras of or in the evolution of repertory was already existing. So one era was of animation era, and this developed and it has been slowly disappeared from the field of repertory. There was also emergence of Bonnie-Wilson era, but in the last quarter of this Bonnie-Wilson era, so 1890 is the year where Dr. Kent got developed in the interest of repertory, and during that time, the Bonnie-Wilson era slowly had started its downfall. So up to the year 1890, Hahnemann's philosophy, Bonnie-Wilson's philosophy, and Bonnie-Wilson's repertories were very popular. But around this period of 1880 to 1890, slowly there was a downfall. Downfall means there were a number of criticisms on the Bonnie-Wilson's philosophy and on the Bonnie-Wilson's repertory. So this is the time period where Dr. Kent entered into the field of repertory, and then after a few years he has come out with his repertory and having long-lasting impact in the field of repertory. But for the time being, you focus on this time period, 1890, and then we will study what was actually the situation in the field of repertory and why he felt the need of a new repertory. So during this time period, 1890, there was a decline of Bonnie-Wilson's philosophical dominance. That means up to that period of 1890, whatever Bonnie-Wilson was saying, whatever Bonnie-Wilson had said, it was blindly followed, and people, physicians were also enjoying the benefit of Bonnie-Wilson's work. But slowly, it has become less popular because of various reasons. So the one important reason for this downfall of Bonnie-Wilson's philosophy was emergence of Puritan school of repertory. So up to the time of 1890 or 1880, there was only one school of philosophy, that is logico-utilitarian repertory. Remember this. And then during the same time period where the Bonnie-Wilson philosophy were becoming less popular, one of the reasons for the Bonnie-Wilson's downfall was this emergence of a new school of repertory, that is Puritan school. And there was also discord between what? The differences of opinion between these two schools of repertory, Puritan school and logico-utilitarian school. To understand this, I will just explain you what is Puritan school and what is logico-utilitarian school. So, logico-utilitarian school of repertory means the repertories which were focusing only on the utility of repertory by doing some mechanical indexing of the symptoms given in the homeopathy material medicine. I'm again repeating logico-utilitarian school, two important features. One, emphasis was more on the utility, and while making the repertory more and more useful, they have emphasized on the mechanical indexing of the symptoms of homeopathy material medicine. And the Puritan school was of the opinion that for the purpose of increasing the utility of homeopathic repertory, one should not compromise to the level of words or to the important descriptions given by the prover, and there should be no neglection to the original language which is then mentioned by the prover. And these symptoms of homeopathic materia medica should be indexed in its pure form. And this is one Puritan school, another logico-utilitarian school, and it's through the various journals, through the various dioceses, through the various literature, both these two schools were criticizing each other. That was the time when Dr. Kent entered in the field of repertory. And then one more important event was that there was also the beginning of a regional school of repertory. Now, what is this regional school of repertory? The regional school of repertory means the repertories which were focusing on indexing of specific symptoms belonging to the regions. So, Berich repertory, if you remember, was Bell's diarrhea. All these repertories were published in the year after 1867 and before 1890. So this was also one more event. Emergence of a new different school, that is regional school. And then there was also various criticisms on the Bonimus philosophy and on the repertories prepared by Bonimus. And whatever information was given in the repertories, it was only limited up to the homeopathic materia medica. There was no inclusion of lack of clinical information, or everything was limited only up to the materia medica. So this four important events indicates that when Dr. Kent entered into the field of repertory, everything was not good in the field of repertory. There was some kind of unrest in the field of repertory. And once Dr. Kent entered in this field of repertory, he has again started, because of his nature of sincere study of homeopathic literature, he has also studied the various works. And he found that whatever works were existing, he was not satisfactory with those current works. Now, there was a big puzzle or big question in the Dr. Kent's mind. What to do? What to do with respect to this field of repertory? and there was lot many confusions, lot many quarrels, lot many unsatisfaction according to Kent was there in the field of repertory. So with some specific objective in his mind that he will prepare a repertory which will give answer to all these questions which have been there existing in the field of repertory between 1885 to 1890. There was one question: which school of repertory was better, Puritan school or logical Puritan school? Then he will also include some of this philosophy of regional school in its new repertory. He will also give answer to the Bonhoeffer's philosophy, criticism over the Bonhoeffer's philosophy, and he will also overcome this difficulties of lack of clinical information in the homeopathic Mater Medica. These 4 points were disturbing the mind of Dr.Kent, and he felt that if one want to overcome this differentiating points, this confusing situation in the field of repertory, there must be some better repertories. There is a need of some better repertories which will give answer to various questions, which will give answer to these various confusing points in the field of repertory. And find out the answer of this question, when he has searched through the various homeopathic literature, he was also not satisfied. So he decided there is a need of a new repertory on the basis of certain new concept. And because of all this various confusing background, he has decided to prepare a repertory, and he was in search of a better repertory. And during this study, he has come to a better repertory. And better repertory was a repertory of characteristic Mater Medica by Constantine Lippitt. And after looking at that repertory, his search for new repertory has stopped, and he has started using the Lippitt repertory in his practice. But later on, he has also found out some lacunae, some drawback of this repertory also. But he liked the plan and construction. He liked basically the idea of Constantine Lippitt of the framework of the repertory, the philosophy of repertory. And in the philosophy of this Constantine Lippitt's repertory, Lippitt has given importance to the mental symptom, which was very much liked by Dr. James Tyler Kent, and accordingly he has decided that if he will make a new repertory, he will use this Constantine Lippitt's characteristic repertory more and more. And in the next meeting, we will see how Dr. Kent has decided to work upon Constantine Lippitt's characteristic repertory, and how he has built up his new repertories on the basis of